Alright everyone, this is a battle against a guy who goes by the name Zucchini, and you might actually recognize him because this was battle 499, well, a rematch with the person of battle 499, which was my first Wi-Fi battle back into Gen 6. So yeah, should be a pretty fun rematch here. He once again came to my stream and requested a battle, so let's go ahead and get into this. So he leads with his Latios, as I lead with my what is this called? This thing is I want to say Gallade, but that's wrong. It's a Frostlass, that's what it is. And this team is actually pretty bad. I kind of made it on the fly, and I knew it would be bad, but I wanted to try to use it anyway, because it has a lot of Pokemon people are requesting in it. Either way, so he Mega Evolves into Gyarados, and I'm just going to set up some spikes, because why not? And now I am going to taunt, because I do not want this thing to be able to set up Dragon Dance. If he does attack me, I do have the Focus Sash, just in case. But yeah, he is going to attack me now with the Crunch. And yeah, that is going to do a ton of damage to me, enough to get me down to 1, since Mega Gyarados is pretty strong and Frostlass is pretty weak. So I am going to try to go for the Destiny Bond, which I guess is pretty predictable these days. And yeah, he is going to predict Destiny Bond and go out in a Latios, which is a pretty good play. I know he can't kill me, though, this turn, so he ends up going for the Trick. So that tricks me a Choice Scarf, which isn't so bad, because if I come back in later, as long, you know, obviously if he sets up Stealth Rocks, I can't. But if I do come back in later, having the Scarf will allow me to pretty much Destiny Bond Scarf anything I want. Although, obviously, he's going to expect it, but I might be able to get a KO if he's desperate enough. Either way, he goes back into Gyarados now. Yeah, that's not so bad. And, yeah, against my Scizor, because Scizor is looking at Gyarados and like, I can do super effective damage to you with U-turn. Too bad this is not my normal Scizor. This is a Mega Scizor, as a matter of fact. And, yeah, Mega Scizor's pretty cool. I go for the Swords Dance, and I should have a ton of attack now, although this thing is pretty bulky. What's it called? The freaking Vulture Pokemon, I forget its name. And it also has that, so, yeah, obviously I'm going to be doing damage to myself, pretty much, thanks to his foul play. Either way, this Mandibuzz, I figure I have +4 attack, and it still took it like a champ, and I'm like, holy crap. I knew Mandibuzz was a physical wall, but I had no idea it could live at times. Well, an X4 attack, Bullet Punch from Mega Scizor, okay. Now I'm officially scared of this thing. So yeah, he ends up going back into Gyarados here, as I think I actually go for Icy Wind, which is my attacking move. And yeah, that isn't so bad to use against this Gyarados. Obviously, he does resist it, but since it's no longer Water Flyer now, it's a Water Dark. But he does lower his speed, so it's not like he can set up Dragon Dance now against my predicted switch. So I go out into Electivire as he goes for the Crunch, which is not really good because Electivire is going to take a ton from Crunch, and yeah, that sucks. So he goes back into Latios, which is a good play because I go for the Wild Charge, knowing that my Electivire is basically worthless at this point because it just lost everything. And then I kill myself thanks to my Life Orb and the Recoil, so yeah, Life Orb, Electivire, pretty snazzy in Gen 4, maybe not so good in Gen 6, I don't know. Anyway, here comes back the Latios, and well, yeah, obviously, I already said it was a Latios. No, my Talonflame comes out, and I just go for the Priority Brave Bird to kill it. I know if he goes into anything, it'll do enough decent damage anyway, and here I make a huge mistake. He goes into Mandibuzz, and I'm like, well, I just saw it live, a +4 attack, freaking Bullet Punch. I should have continued to go for the Brave Bird, because as you'll find out later at the very end of this match, it looks like from that point I would have been able to kill, since my Talonflame is choice banned, so I would have been able to kill it there, and it's a huge misplay for me just not to kill it, obviously. Instead, I go into Melodic, which is a Flame Orb Melodic. It does burn me, but it gives me a ton of physical defense, so this is my physical wall. And I also can go for the Toxic against the Mandibuzz. It'll limit the amount of turns it can stay in, which is really what I need right now, because Mandibuzz can wall me aside from that, and I really need a way to keep it so it can't stay in very long. Yeah, the Toxic does that pretty nicely. He's going to have to switch out soon, obviously, and yeah. I'm gonna switch as well. I go out into Dustbuster against his Gyarados, which I thought was actually a pretty awesome switch for me, because I actually predicted that he'd switch out into Gyarados this turn. hoping that he could set up Dragon Dance. So I'm like, okay, with a Choice Scarf return, and this Gyarados pretty weak at worst, I can 2-hit KO this thing, except, apparently Dustbuster doesn't love me. I think this is one of the Pokemon that was donated to me, so I traded for it, and thus its happiness got reset. And I forgot to, obviously increase it again, so, yeah, how you like those, min damage returns? Unfortunately, Dustbuster, if only I didn't botch that. If I had Frustration, it would have done a decent chunk of damage, but no, that sucks. Dustbuster is, not very... It's basically a wasted Pokemon on my team now, now that I found that out, and, yeah, I'm gonna need to... obviously, get that thing to love me before I use it again, or get rid of, Return for Frustration or something, I don't know. Either way, he ends up going to one of the more interesting mons on his team, which is this, crap, what is the name of this thing? Its name is Snips, but that's its Pokemon name. Crap. It's a Drapion, that's the word. So he appears to be an Acupressure Drapion, which is heavily RNG based. He's hoping to get the attack boost, and he did get one there, which sucks for him, but I did get a bird on him, which is what I was hoping for. I did see that this thing got a few special defense boosts earlier, so now that I have the bird, I'm feeling okay, but he's going to continue staying in, which makes me think that he has rest, which would make this a really, really interesting random Drapion set. And I kind of like it, actually, even though it's incredibly RNG based. Either way, yeah, he's going to keep going for the Acupressure, which adds to my belief that he does have rest. I'm just going to keep going for the Scald just to drain him, limit the amount of turns he can go for Acupressure in the first place before he's forced to rest, which will be my opportunity to switch into something else and hopefully get rid of this thing for good. And yeah, obviously if he does have rest, he is going to have to use it this turn, so I kind of expect him to do it, so I decided to go for the Recover so I can get my Melodic back in later at full health. And yeah, he is going to go for the rest, and at this point it's not very good, because this thing that means it probably also has Sleep Talk, which isn't really that good, for me, that is. Either way, this is my opportunity, so I need to switch out. I go out into my, my Frostlass, and I'm going to taunt it. I do that because I don't want it to get off another Sleep Talk. He is going to go for one here, and thankfully, Sleep Talk the rest, so he's not going to get anything useful. And now I am going to taunt him, which, yeah, you can't use Sleep Talk after taunt. And I really could have just went for the Destiny Bond instead of that Sleep Talk, but my thought process was this. My thought process was he's not going to probably want to switch out. So I was just going to go for the taunt. Now that he's set up, I don't think he would, want to switch out. So I just go for the taunt and then go back in, now that he can't, use a non-attacking move to go for the Destiny Bond. But he's going to actually try to conserve his, Drapion for later, and, yeah, so switch out into Gyarados, which, at the very least, my, play forced his switch, which, at the very least, isn't such a bad thing, because that gets rid of all of the Acupressure boost that he accumulated. So I do go for the Destiny Bond again. I was kind of predicting that he would think that I would, switch, obviously, but, I thought he would thought that I would switch, so I decided to stay in Destiny Bond. I know, it's very much circular logic, but I ended up being correct, or he just wants to sacrifice, he feels okay sacrificing Gyarados, for Frostlass. Either way, he goes out into his, one of the last mons I haven't seen yet, which is the, Volcarona, which does have Quiver Dance, like all of them pretty much do. It's the main reason people use it. And I'm just going to go for the Scald, hoping that I can do, at least half after a Quiver Dance. And doesn't look like it. It looks to be a 3 KO, especially if he gets another Quiver Dance up. And he's not even going to try. He goes for the Bug Buzz. So I figure I have to kind of hope for a Confuse here. So I go for the Confuse Ray, hoping that I can get, one hit himself. One hit on himself, so maybe I can get the kill here with Scald. But he isn't going to hit himself. He's just going to be able to get off a Psychic, which does kill Melodic. And my last Pokemon is Talonflame, and at this point I'm pretty sure I'm defeated, because I don't think Talonflame can kill with a Brave Bird against the Volcarona. Wait, not Volcarona. Against the Mandibuzz, the freaking Vulture Pokemon. But it is able to take out the Volcarona, at least, and here comes the Mandibuzz, who, yeah, see how much damage this Brave Bird does. Take a look. It actually does more than I would have expected, thanks to my Choice Band. if I would have used it earlier when I had it in against Mandibuzz, or I just would have just went for it, it would have died, and that would have been a load off my back. But what can you say? Sometimes you make mistakes, and that sucks. I am going to actually end up killing the Mandibuzz due to him not quite finishing me, but he does have, I believe, one more healthy Pokemon, maybe two. I think he has two healthy Pokemon, so he's just going to go out into Snips here. And I'm not going to be able to take this thing out in one hit, sadly, with Brave Bird, so yeah, I'm locked into it. That's the reason I didn't, like, switch into Flare Blitz. Not that it matters, because I think he has one other Pokemon still alive. Regardless, that was a very good game there, Zucchini. A great rematch. And yeah, was pretty cool. Pretty fun, to say the least. I'm kind of doing a question of the day based on, like, favorites of, something of all Pokemon generations. I did Champions, I did Elite Four members. Let's go ahead and do Gym Leaders. Who is your favorite Gym Leader from any generation of Pokemon? Pick your favorite. Probably for me, it's still Giovanni. If I had to decide, or Bugsy, because Bugs are my type. But I think Bugsy, I can't tell what gender he is, so I'm just gonna go with Giovanni. Back in the day when he fought Pokemon gangsters, he was the leader, and he was the only one of the only gym leaders you didn't. I think he's still the only gym leader that you didn't actually know the identity of prior to the game. Like even in the handbook, it said question mark. Although, yeah, so it's kind of like a mystery. It was fun. So yeah, leave a comment about that, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.